Hello and welcome to I Am Geek, and this is episode 177. I'm Ryan. I'm joined by my brother Chris and our good pal Katrin. You guys ready to travel back in time to when things were all in black and white?
Time. I have my serious
What
persona on for
Yeah.
this.
Now we're not
Okay.
doing Back to the
Very
Future
serious.
tonight. We're not going
Oh.
that back in time
No.
for that.
1.21 gigawatt.
We're going to be talking about the first two
Mm-hmm.
episodes of WandaVision. So if you haven't seen that,
Turn it off.
turn it off and go watch it, and then come back and watch this or listen to this, because there will be lots of spoilers. It's just the first two episodes because that's all that's come out yet. Now tonight around 2 a.m, probably our time, that episode 3 will come out.
Yes.
But we're not going to wait. So we're going to talk about sort of our general thoughts on the first two episodes, and then we're going to do sort of a background of Scarlet Witch in the comics and what we could maybe expect to happen in the series. Maybe, and hopefully for this episode, especially going to be for people like our parents who watched the first 5 minutes of WandaVision and said, "Nope,
Not for me.
I don't understand what's going on. Why is there a laugh track? I don't get it."
I mean, that's pretty much how my wife was. We started watching, and then here comes her phone. So it's just like, nope. But she watched both of them with me, so
Did she end up
we
liking
had
them?
quality time. I don't think so.
No.
I mean, it was funny. She did recognize a lot of the references to older TV shows. She's like, "Oh, that's Dick Van Dyke," and this is this, So
They actually brought Dick Van Dyke on as a person to, like a consultant.
Yes.
there you go.
To help
And
plan
they
it
actually
out.
apparently filmed at least portions of it in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah, they did.
There you go.
And there was old Golden Girl props in the show. Did you know?
What? Wow.
And the neighbor's house is the Murtaugh's house from Lethal Weapon.
Is it?
Yeah, apparently.
What the world?
Yeah, the
Wow.
lobster that's like a Jello mold lobster
Yeah.
is from the Golden Girls.
Oh yeah. Episode 427.
I can see Rose making that. Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it was just hanging on their wall, and they used the same one to hang on the wall. That's what I heard.
Bewitched with a robot. Comment in the YouTube feed. Bewitched with a robot. I don't understand. My parents.
Yeah, so we're going to try to explain actually what's going on and how it's not
Yes.
actually that weird of a show, even though it's strange. But it's not. When you
It's-
think about what's actually going on, then it makes it a
Yeah.
lot cooler and something that you might want to actually watch. But right off the bat, I thoroughly enjoyed both episodes so far. I don't know about you guys, but I really enjoyed it.
It was good.
Yeah, it reminded. First off, it reminded me of watching Nick at Night growing up. So I had a lot of that feeling. Like
Very nostalgic.
Our dad was like, the laugh track was annoying. I was like, I thought the laugh track was funny because it's just like in all those old shows.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, yeah. They're not on here though, so we can talk about them.
Those are the shows they watched. I don't understand.
Yeah. But so go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's the jury's still out for me. I guess I think I told you guys it was okay. That's kind of what I said on the text, and just because I didn't really get what was going on until I did some reading afterwards. But even then, it was just I don't know. It's like, what's the point of this? But I mean,
we'll get to the point.
We'll get to that. But I mean, like I said, once I read it, made more sense. It just trying to piece it together in my mind beforehand, just knowing I was like, this isn't normal. What's all this? What's the point? Which if you think about sitcoms, there's no point to them, right? It's like nowadays TV shows have an ongoing story, right? The Mandalorian, you've got this overarching story and these little short stories. Or with a sitcom like the Cosbys or Bewitched or whatever, yeah, there's a theme going on, but it's mostly just individual stories, going through. So it kind of felt like that, I guess, right? In some ways, but there is an overarching story, I guess. Whatever. It was fine.
That all made sense.
I've watched both episodes twice.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, I wouldn't mind watching it again just to
Mm-hmm.
now knowing a little bit more.
I went
more
back
about
to
it.
watch them again and pick them up, and I really picked them apart and looked at all the little Easter eggs and everything that was going on. And
Yeah.
slowed some stuff down to look at some stuff that was like in
Okay.
the. Well, there's some
What,
stuff hidden in
frame by
the
frame?
opening.
Got charts like in the
Yeah.
background, rings going from here.
Yeah.
Now, if you see, if you follow this path.
Yeah, we'll get to episode 2, but the Bewitched type opening, if you slow it down, there's some random stuff that shouldn't be there that's actually there probably for a reason. That's pretty cool.
Maybe it should be
No, I mean, you're saying it shouldn't be there, but it is there, so it's probably there for a reason.
Or is it?
Or is it?
there. It's not there actually.
Or are you seeing things?
Maybe I am. Maybe I am.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. All right, checking.
So a lot of the notes, I have a whole page of notes, but a lot of those are for
Excellent.
episode 2 because there's a ton of stuff in episode 2. But we can start with episode 1. Basically, they arrive. We'll get sort of the gist of it, and then we're going to go into the background of Scarlet Witch in the comics and how some characters will do it. So basically, they start arriving from their being married. They just married.
Yep, they're moving in.
Yeah, that's what I did on my honeymoon. I immediately left with the car, dragging stuff behind me, and went to my new house. You know.
I mean, that's what they did back then, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happens now. I mean, they don't go anywhere. Yeah.
you can't go anywhere.
Just get married
Just
and
get
they go
married
home.
and go. So they arrive and they think they're married, but they're not sure. But they are married.
Mm-hmm.
They're just sort of in this new world, pretty much. And they immediately move into their house and everything's good to go because magic.
The furniture came with the house.
I thought it was funny that when they walk through the door, Vision goes through the door, and Wanda just gets left outside.
Yeah, that was good.
But then I guess she does some magic to adjust that when they get inside because she goes part of the way through a chair.
Yeah. That may have been an oops, but I noticed that as well.
I think she did something with her hand, like a little flick of the wrist.
Flourish.
Yeah. Flourish. Episode 2. Flourish. So and then we basically they do this thing. He goes to work and changes his face.
Well, there's a calendar. There's a
heart on it.
A heart on a date on the calendar, and neither one of them can remember what it's about. Yeah. Because apparently, because they just moved in, and it's probably not even their calendar.
That is weird because they just moved in, but they have, this calendar with the heart on it, and he has a job that he's already going to, and before he basically starts his first day at his job, he already has a dinner set up with his boss that he doesn't know.
Well, that's
what happens with new employees.
That's right.
At that company.
Did you hear
the boss
that?
comes over for dinner, which is apparently a thing.
I guess so.
But he already had it planned, even though it was on the calendar. Mm-hmm. So what point did it get on? Would it have gotten on the calendar? Like when he interviewed, which he didn't do, or
I guess in the process of they give you all the paperwork with your medical stuff and everything, and they give you a calendar with
Here's the important
put the heart on it for them. It was a company calendar that they got with maybe a mug with their logo on it.
Nice.
All these plot holes were just tearing apart.
Well, it's not meant to make
or magic
for the most part.
With this show, you could just say magic.
Mm-hmm. It was kind of funny about him working those. Like he's this really fast typer or whatever he's doing.
And nobody questions that. Right?
Nobody questions it. It's just like, oh, you're really great at your job.
What exactly do we do here?
Computations.
Anyways, and then the neighbor comes over, which her name is Agnes.
Oh, Agnes.
Oh, Agnes. What's a girl like you doing in a house like this all by herself unmarried?
But I am married.
Where's your ring?
I'm sure it's around here somewhere.
Acting it out now.
We're gonna do all the lines. Katrin, you gonna
we're doing the whole thing. We got the script.
Great.
Did you get your script, Katrin?
Yeah, did you get your script?
You're playing like every other character.
She had one of my favorite lines in the show though, but I can't remember right now. Something about
a great
goose. Line. What was it? Like it was not a kids show, at all. It's like there's a lot of innuendos in the show, and which a lot of sitcoms did. But she had a line about getting goosed or something. But
she wants her husband to goose her.
yeah. So I thought was funny. So I'm glad I didn't
Ralph,
watch it on my phone.
Her husband Ralph. Anyway,
yeah, a common 60s or 50s or 60s name, Ralph. Right. That was funny.
Yeah. So Agnes, should we just? I guess since we're here at Agnes.
Yes.
Let's talk about Agnes because she's a little fishy.
She's very nice.
She's very nice.
Very nice.
Very helpful name.
I think there's a lot of stuff going on about Agnes that hasn't been revealed, but there's little hints about Agnes, especially in episode 2, about who she really is.
Yeah, I think she's a drug dealer.
No, Chris.
No.
All right, so everybody's thinking that, I think pretty much everybody, and I thought this when I saw it too, that she's actually going to be Agatha Harkness, which is
combining the Agnes with Agatha Harkness.
Yeah.
Very good.
Agatha Harkness is basically a person that in the comic books helps out Scarlet Witch, teaches her some magic, but also is not totally on Scarlet Witch's side. Sort of a back and forth.
She's a witch from the comics. She apparently was a witch from the first Salem trials that escaped.
Which there's a clue to that. There's another clue to that. Since you mentioned the Salem witch trials. She says the only way Ralph would remember our anniversary is if there was a beer called June 2nd. And June 2nd is the date that the Salem witch trials first began.
Grief.
Yeah, I told you there's a lot of stuff. See, this show is really a mystery. Crazy. It's a mystery is what it is. And you're trying to solve the mystery. And they're leaving little clues everywhere to help you sort of solve this mystery. But June 2nd is the start of the witch trials, which is another clue that she is going to be Agatha Harkness. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's got like a little brooch. And in the comics, Agatha Harkness always has a brooch on.
Yeah. On both episodes, she's had the brooch, but it's in different places. You get to look for her. Katrin's like really confused now. He's like, what is going on?
No, I'm rereading some articles I was looking at so I can make some intelligent comments.
So I hear that the woman who plays Scarlet Witch is a sister of the Olsen twins. That's crazy. That's wild.
I love a good mystery. So this show, that's one of the reasons I like this show, because there's just so much stuff going on. And it could all be nothing. It could be them just, a bunch of red herrings that they're just throwing out there. But it's pretty fun.
I mean,
go ahead.
Yeah, like the newspaper. The headline, did you see the thing about the headline of the newspaper?
I bet you just did.
I did. I read this earlier. But it says, little baby June's first word tickles Mother Sue. I don't know. It's just like that could be, nothing. It's nothing. It's probably some joke to them,
I mean, it is interesting. Like, that made me think. I don't think this is where we're doing it, but it made me think of like a Batman animated episode where he is like trapped in his mind. The Mad Hatter has him trapped in his mind, and he starts to realize he can't read anything in there. He can't read the papers, can't read any books. They're all blank, just gibberish. Because the dream portion comes from one side of your brain, while like reading and stuff comes from another side. So that he realized he was in his like subconscious type thing.
And that's kind of what they talked about in this article on insider.com.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
Yeah. So this show goes on. They realize that there's a dinner that they have to have with the boss. And then the mom from that 70s show is the wife. Yes. I thought was fun.
That was awesome. Also on a recent episodes of Friends I just watched.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
So they come over for dinner, and Wanda thinks it's actually their anniversary, so she's all dolled up.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff happens.
In Sokovian garb.
Yeah, Sokovian.
Sokovia. That was so weird. I was like, what?
Well, she's from Sokovia. That's like actually it's for like her actual character.
Well, that's what somebody asked me at work. They're like, so can you tell me why she lost her accent? Like she had an accent towards the beginning of all the movies. No, well, like throughout the movies.
Yeah.
Because it's harder to keep up with an accent and get rid of it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Well, I think that she doesn't have the accent now is because in whatever this world is, in her mind, she knows that in this black and white TV show, nobody would have an accent like that.
Right. No, that's fine. I'm talking about like in the movies, she loses her accent. She starts off with a strong accent and loses it throughout.
I thought she always had it in the movies.
Slowly been going away.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it just depends on where she lives. It's one of her powers. Mm-hmm. Got that right here on this article I read.
She can do all kinds of imitations.
A little flourish, and I got rid of her accent. Yeah.
Flourish. So they have dinner, first episode, blah 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 blah, and then
the one almost dies.
The boss. Well, I was going to get the blah blah to the boss gets choked, and then that 70s mom goes batty.
Yeah,
Stop it.
Like he started like asking all these questions, like when'd you get married, and when'd you do this, and how long have you been this, and the Wanda and Vision just kind of go blank, and then he starts choking, and she goes, "Oh, stop!
And then Vision reveals his powers, and as soon as Vision reveals his powers, they both go, "Oh, this is a wonderful night. We got to go."
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, something spooky is going on.
Yeah. So it's almost like, which we're going to get to this in episode 2, with Dottie, but it's also like the TV show reality breaks,
and
then it resets itself.
Yes.
Yeah. And then that's why they're like, "Oh, well, we got to go. What a lovely night." And it just sort of resets itself to back into that TV show reality, because it breaks from that into sort of a more real reality with someone dying, and and so it resets itself. So we're going to get to that more in episode 2. But so that sort of, I think that sums up episode 1 pretty much.
So not to bring my article up again. But they compared that to, is that a reference to when Thanos was choking somebody, choking her or choking Vision in Infinity War, and
it could have like triggered something in Scarlet Witch, and that's why she
and it
started to crumble a little bit.
As Thanos rips the golden gemstone from his head, you can hear a distinct shattering noise. Thanos then tosses Vision's body to the ground with a massive thud. Similarly, I can't say that word. The longer Mr. Hart chokes, the intense dinner moments can crescendos with to the sound of what sounds like a shattering bulb. As soon as it happens, Hart drops to the floor. I mean, who knows? She's unable to. In both scenarios, she's unable to help the person suffering.
You should have just said that and pretended like you just knew that.
I can't do that. I'm not a good liar.
He leaves that to us.
What are you saying? We're liars?
No, I'm not a good liar is all I'm saying.
Well, I guess we are.
You guys know your stuff. I don't. So just here for the funnies.
So then they end with their picking their favorite song and their anniversary.
Yes. Which is like the only song they've heard in that date.
Yak.
Don't talk back.
And then it sort of, the show ends, and then you fade out, and you realize that there's somebody watching.
Yeah. On a screen somewhere.
From Sword. I think there's a little Sword logo on one of the screens.
Yeah, Sword.
A van down by the river.
Yeah. If you don't know what Sword is, no, then it's a group that's sort of like S.H.I.E.L.D. It's sort of like a cosmic version of S.H.I.E.L.D. In the last Spider-Man movie at the end, You see, or to say Captain Marvel, and that's not who I want to say. Samuel Jackson's character, which
Nick Fury.
Nick Fury. Wow, that's a brain part. Nick Fury is sitting on this spaceship, and supposedly he's with Sword with them.
Yeah. So you think of like Shield as like the right hand and Sword as the left hand.
Yes.
Type thing.
Oh.
Shield deals with Shield
Sword
deals
and
with
Shield.
Sword and Shield. You think of them as Pokemon, and and it all makes sense.
It does.
Yeah, Shield deals with like terrestrial events, while Sword deals with extraterrestrial.
And just so you know, SWORD stands for Sentient, Weapon, Observation, Response, Division.
So is this the Truman Show? They're
no
observing him.
Well, they are observing, but
did you also notice in the credits it said Abe Brown? Abe Brown?
Yes, that was somebody.
Classmate of he was a classmate of Spider-Man and Peter Parker.
Oh, yeah.
See, look, there you go.
I didn't know that either. That was my.
No, you were good. You didn't say it. I read it in an article. You said, "Did you notice that?"
He becomes, and if you'll remember, he became a martial artist, the Black Tiger.
You're getting the hang of this.
That was the White Tiger. Black Tiger.
It says Black Tiger.
Oh, it could be Black Tiger.
I remember it being the Black Tiger.
Hey, Vance. Anyway, sorry. All right, so let's move on to episode 2. This one, it really picks up. It starts with basically the Bewitched, if you're familiar with the TV show Bewitched. If not, then
yes.
It's an old show where the wife was a witch and the husband
was like a little animated intro.
Yeah, so it's an animated intro for that. And it's got all the neighbors sort of waving at them. And
everybody's saying, WandaVision.
Yeah, WandaVision. And then it's got Vision going through the house, and he goes into the bathroom, and then he goes down to the floor. And if you pause it right there, you'll see in between the floorboards is like bones and stuff and cobwebs, and the helmet of the Grim Reaper from Marvel, the Marvel character Grim Reaper.
Oh, okay.
Why his helmet's there? I don't know.
I'm thinking that was just a little Easter egg.
Yeah, I think so. Like, just
I don't think they're going to
these references
in there. I think it was just like a little tip.
But that is another clue to death, and there's a lot of clues to death in this. The Grim Reaper is associated with death.
The happy show.
Little clue to death. There's a lot of little clues about death and
just like the show Bewitched.
Yeah. Anyways, so the Grim Reaper helmet. Then I think there's anything I want to say before that. Okay, so the show starts out basically with them hearing a noise outside. They're freaking out, and it turns out it's only a tree limb, which
in separate beds or
in separate beds, and then she scoots them
just
together.
Like those shows would do.
Now look what we can do. Hit the lights. Family friendly. So they think it's just
big bangs outside.
Yeah, big bangs. Which I don't think it was actually a tree limb, right? It sort of.
Yeah, it was probably not a tree limb.
Changed into a tree.
I think it has to do a little bit with something that she finds the next morning. Yeah. In the bushes, the little toy helicopter, heliocopter,
and the helicopter is in color.
Yes, it's in color.
That's the first time we see. No, second time.
No, we didn't even talk about the commercial break in the first episode. Yeah. Commercial break. Yeah, there was a toaster. It was a Ford toaster from Stark Industries. But the light on the toaster was red and it was blinking. Yes.
And apparently, like when mechanical stuff happens on the toaster, it's like Iron Man sounds.
Like Iron Man. And supposedly it's supposed to be some people think that it's a reminder of the bomb, the Stark Industry bomb that fell in their town, Wanda's town.
Yes. It
seems
made
that
like
beeping noise. Same beeping noise.
It seems like both commercials have to do with like horrible experiences that she had.
And there wasn't a 6 on the clock. Keep that
in mind.
Keep that in mind. All other numbers were there, but the 6 was gone. Anyways, okay, so she goes outside and she finds this helicopter that's a toy, but it's all in color. It's red, yellow.
Which might have had to do with the big booms they were hearing. Yes. Somebody trying to break through something somewhere.
You hear something that sounds like a lawnmower. You think it's a lawnmower, but it's probably actually the helicopter road.
You think it was bigger and it shrunk?
Yes.
Yeah. It also has the sword logo.
Yes.
Yeah, it has a sword logo. And I have an idea of who might be the pilot of that helicopter. We can get to that in a minute. But so what they're doing in this episode is they're planning a talent show, and they're going to be magicians, but they're not going to use their real magic because then people will know who they are. So they're going to use fake magic to fake people out. And so,
if you noticed at this point, the house is different. It is now a 2-story house where it used to be a 1-story.
Yeah, because we've changed time periods. Because before this time period, there was no second floors on houses.
Yeah, there you go. Didn't know that, Ryan.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it only
lies.
Yeah.
They weren't able to build that high.
No, they didn't know how.
Everything was 1-story. There were no skyscrapers.
Ladders were not quite invented yet.
Yeah, or getting there. They had stools, but not a ladder.
So while she's outside looking at the helicopter, Agnes comes over just out of the blue, which I think she didn't just come over randomly. I think she came over to distract Wanda from what she was seeing in the bush.
Yes, and she goes, "Well, there's the star of the show."
Yeah,
yeah.
And she brings over the rabbit for them to use in their talent show thing, and his name is Senor Scratchy, which is a weird name for a rabbit, unless you're Agatha Harkness, because Agatha Harkness has a son, and the son's name is Nicholas Scratch. So another clue that this may be Agatha Harkness. Senor Scratchy may be, sort of a clue to Nicholas Scratch. Also, Scratch, Mr. Scratch or Senor Scratch, we would say Mr. Scratch is a name, another name for the devil. So, so this could allude to Mephisto, the devil in the Marvel universe. So it could have one or two meanings, or it could mean both. It could mean the sun, or it could mean the devil.
Doctor Strange has had interactions with Mephisto, so Spider-Man.
Yeah. And basically, Agatha Harkness follows Mephisto, worships him.
She's a witch.
Yeah, she's a witch. So she sort of has dealings with Mephisto in the comics.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. So it's all sort of put together. And then you're seeing the number 6 pop up everywhere, which is another thing for the devil. And she says that last year, Senor Scratchy played Baby Jesus in the nativity scene, which is sort of like sacrilegious thinking about it, that the devil was playing Baby Jesus. So there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, there's a lot of little things. So that's another thing. And then this is really the oddest scene in the show, or the 2 episodes so far. Here comes a mailman down the street, and she goes, "Stick him up!" He's like, "Oh, don't shoot the messenger."
Yeah, I'm just the messenger.
I think what this is sort of alluding to is that she doesn't want any messages, any information getting to Wanda, so she's just shooing him along. Because he's the messenger. Shoo the messenger along. Wanda doesn't need to know anything.
Maybe she just doesn't like mailman.
I don't know. She gives him a look afterwards like, not bad.
See you later.
I won't tell Ralph if you won't. So then they walk down and they're going to see Dottie, who is sort of like the queen bee of the neighborhood.
From Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's that same actress who played the I can't remember the name of her character on that, but she dates the friend, the guy,
Huh.
the Chandler of
Chandler
Buffy the
Bing.
Vampire, the Chandler of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And she makes it clear that Dottie is the key to everything in this town. She says that. Agnes says that.
Mm-hmm.
Unity leader,
which is interesting. I have some thoughts on there's two thoughts going around on who she could be. One of them I think is I don't think that's right, and the other one I think could be it. Some people were saying that she's actually Mephisto, which I don't know.
Could be,
maybe, but I think there's something that's going to happen a little bit that sort of debunks that. And then some people are saying that she's Clea.
Yes, from Doctor Strange.
Which this makes more sense to me. She is a sorceress supreme of the Dark Dimension, right?
Yeah, and she was supposed to be in like the first Doctor Strange movie or something or whatever, but they decided not to have the character.
Yeah, and you got to remember this show is going to lead into the Doctor Strange movie,
the Multiverse of Madness.
So there's going to be a lot of stuff that is going to play into that. So that would make sense why she would be in this show.
Mm-hmm.
So some people are, because they're saying the devil in the details, all this stuff, that she's Mephisto, but I don't think so. I'm going to lean more towards Clea, or just she's nobody. I don't know. Because she says, Dottie says, the devil's in the details, and Agnes goes, that's not the only place he is. So again, she's alluding to the devil is basically, or Mephisto is around us.
Mm-hmm.
And then they say "for the children" several times over.
For the children.
Yeah, that was very creepy. For the children.
For the children. For the children. Whose children? Because you notice you never see children anywhere.
That's true.
In the two episodes, there's no children running around. There's no children at the talent show. There's no children anywhere. That's interesting. So they're doing all this for the children. Whose children?
There will be children.
Wanda's children. That's who they're
What?
Her twins? What?
Which in the comic books, her children are basically taken from part of Mephisto or a demon or something.
Yeah, some like power exchange that she was helping to stop, and she used some of that. Like basically, Agatha Harkness helped her to use that energy to create children.
Yeah, it's all coming together, see people. Making the show way more interesting to me, anyways.
Oh yes.
This is where she meets Geraldine. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. We'll say so. Who is actually the little girl from
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yes.
All grown up.
Monica Rambeau.
Monica Rambeau. How did we find that out? Did somebody just?
It was said like that she was hired to play that role.
Oh, okay.
And that she was going to be playing a more of a role in the upcoming MCU. So it was stated by like Kevin Feige and people that she would be playing that part.
And I'm thinking she's working for Sword. That's what I'm thinking.
Yes, that is my thought as well. In the comics, she becomes a Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Or Miss Marvel.
Yeah. I think, this is just my thought, I think she was the pilot of the helicopter.
I could see that. She looked up to Captain Marvel, pilot, fly. Her mom was a pilot and flew. And she wanted to grow up and be like them.
Yeah, so she's trying to get in. It all goes awry, and now she's part of the show, pretty much.
Yes.
She's trying to get in as a Sword agent. Helicopter gets turned into a toy. She gets made into a character of the show. She doesn't really know. She says it a couple of times, like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking she was the helicopter pilot. You can say you heard it here first. I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not. First, I just thought about it. Now, this is the first place I heard about Nicholas Scratch, or I thought about. I didn't see that anywhere. I just read some stuff about the comics. I was like, Nicholas Scratch. Senor Scratchy. So while all of this is going on, Vision is with the boys at the library, the neighborhood watch that just sit around and gossip. And he
chew gum.
Yeah, there's a bunch of communist stuff that goes up here. He's like, I got a scoop. What's his name's a communist, and they're like, what? And then they're like, you want some Big Red, which is communist.
Well, maybe he could be a bad guy that got trapped in there as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that kind of hints at his future in it, that he's someone evil.
And if you notice, Mr. Hart is nowhere in this episode.
It's true.
He wasn't at the talent show. He's nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he lives in a different town.
He's got a business.
His wife was at the talent show, but he was not. Okay.
He's got a business to run.
Or he's dead. Yeah. It's not time for talent shows.
He was watching the children.
For the children.
For the children.
Anyway, so basically, he takes some gum and gets choked on it, and it makes him drunk, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it gunks up his gears.
Yeah.
Like it's like a fun little like animated little thing. Like the gum had like a face on it, like a smiley face as it was going down his throat. And then it gets caught up in all of his gears, which turns him into his character from A Knight's Tale.
That's true.
Today.
That's the only thing I could think of when he came out on a stage. Like I just pictured his character from A Knight's Tale.
Then we go back and Wanda's helping clean up. It's just her and Dottie, and the radio is playing. Help me, Rhonda.
Help me, Wanda.
No, well, it's Help Me, Rhonda.
It's Help Me, Rhonda.
But it does sound.
I know the song, but it sounds like Help Me, Wanda. Yeah. I know what the song is.
Well, they were playing the actual song.
I wrote it,
idiot.
Did you read that in an article?
No. No.
I'm just kidding. Anyways, Help Me, Rhonda's playing, which sounds like Help Me, Wanda. And then a voice starts coming over the thing saying, basically, who's doing this to you, Wanda? Which we think it's the
Jimmy Woo.
Jimmy Woo. Yeah. Randall Park, the actor. He was then Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah. Which this sort of snaps Dottie out of this TV show reality. You can see the change in her face. You can see the change in basically how she's acting. And she goes, who's that? And then she looks at Wanda and says, who are you? Which causes, I think when she snaps out and says, who this, just like in the first episode with the choking, she goes, who's this? And then who are you? That causes the radio to explode, which causes her to crush the glass and get cut, which snaps her back into the TV show reality.
Mm-hmm.
Because she goes, well, the best thing to clean a blood off of satin or whatever or cotton is a housewife. And then she just wanders off like do. And if you notice, when the radio blows up, she's like snaps back into it. Then the radio is back to normal again.
Ooh.
It's not,
but the blood was red.
And the blood was red. Yeah.
See, it was real.
Which
it wasn't black and white. It wasn't chocolate syrup.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
So this makes me, the way Dottie reacts to this makes me think that she can't be Mephisto, because Mephisto would be pulling all the strings. He wouldn't be snapping out, going, "Oh, what's going on here? Who is this? Who are you? Who are you? Who?" So this makes me lean more towards Clea. But I thought that was very interesting in both episodes when somebody is about to figure something out, or figuring something out, it snaps back. It snaps them back into the TV show reality. Anyways, Wanda could be doing that, or somebody else could be doing that. I don't know. What do you think? Yeah? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So they go to the talent show, and you guys can just watch it, but they go through this whole magic show, and Vision's drunk. The thing of note here is that he starts flying, and they're all like, whoa. And if you notice, Agnes grabs her purse, picks it up like she's going to get something out of it, and sort of starts freaking out. And then they shows the rope, and she's like, oh, ha, 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 yeah. And then puts her purse down, like, okay, never mind, I don't have to intervene.
He was reaching for her gun.
She was reaching for something.
Her cell phone to take a picture.
Yes.
No, I think she was like, "Oh crap, this thing's falling apart. I've got to fix it." Because she is a witch. But then she puts it back down and just starts laughing like, "Oh yeah, it's a rope." And then he's drunk the whole time, Vision, basically doing all this funny magic. And then at the last trick, their box, they make Geraldine appear in it.
I did like when the Vision started lifting up the piano.
Yeah.
And she changed it into a cardboard cutout, and the one guy's like, "Oh, that was my grandmother's piano." That was funny.
Yeah. The whole scene. I like the guy, I forget his name, that does the card trick with him.
Oh yeah.
He's funny. Yeah, that is my card. No, you got it right. Yeah. Anyways, so then they basically get an award for winning the talent show, and Geraldine's still like, "How did you do that?" Like, I was standing backstage, and then I was in it. She's like, "I'll never tell."
Yeah.
I figured you wouldn't. So I think she's trying to piece stuff together. And then they go back to their house, and they're gonna hang out, and then a baby bump appears out of nowhere. Oh, look, we're pregnant.
Well, before that, they start to hear the loud noise again.
No, that's right after they say the baby bump pops up. They're like,
I thought that was after.
Is this real? Is this real? And they're like, yeah. And then you hear a bump, and he's like, oh, what's that going on out there again? And then he runs out, and they see the beekeeper come up.
Mm-hmm.
And then she rewinds time to the moment right before the baby bump.
Okay, I didn't think they got to the baby bump because I thought that's what the show ended on. They were good. They almost got to that point.
They did it twice.
About the boom. Yeah.
I watched it twice. So.
He watched it twice, Chris. He knows.
I'll take it.
Because she was excited about the baby bump. She was excited about the baby bump, and then the loud noise, which made him sort of just like go away. And she was sort of looking at him like, "What about the baby bump?" And then they go outside, and then this random beekeeper pops up with the sword logo on his back. So, Chris, what do you think of the baby bump? Not the baby bump. The beekeeper.
For them, like I don't know how they did it.
Sat on his lap.
He's an android, but it's amazing. The beekeeper. So like it's a little dual kind of reactions because he's got the sword logo, so sword person, but also the beekeeper uniform resembles AIM. They're kind of people, they're underlings or whatever in the comics. All their costumes basically look like beekeeper outfits. They're basically these like radiation type suits type things.
What's AIM stand for again? Do you remember?
I can look it up. Assisted? No.
American Intelligence Mechanics?
That's not right, is it? It's not American. I think
Advanced Idea Mechanics?
Advanced Idea Mechanics, that's it. There you go. So like it could just be one of the sword people in a radiation suit, and the radiation suit got changed into a beekeeper outfit, or it could be a conglomeration of showing the two entities that are trying to break into this reality.
That'd be sort of cool.
AIM and sword.
Because the person in the beekeeper is just a stuntman for the show. He's not like an actor that's going to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They need a stuntman to come out of that sewer.
I guess. But he's been a stuntman in a bunch of Marvel stuff. So that's cool. They're using the same guy over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I hope it's something like a mix of the two. That'd be sort of cool.
Yeah, that's kind of my theory. We can talk about it a little bit after we finish with this episode about that kind of stuff. But yeah.
Oh, you don't want the listeners to hear.
Well, no, I mean like after we're done
talking
with
about
this episode.
Oh, okay.
We're going to get into theories.
He knows some things.
I thought you meant.
I know some things.
I know some things we can't put on the air.
I'm just going to put that little tidbit in my pocket and save it for later.
So she doesn't like seeing the beekeeper and rewinds time, like she did for the chicken that turned into multiple eggs for some reason in the first episode instead of one egg.
Yeah.
Because what the chicken just turned into one egg instead of multiple eggs?
Yeah.
It takes multiple eggs to make a chicken.
Well, everything's just out of whack.
All right. Yeah. Anyway, she rewinds time to right before she says, "Oh, look, we're having a baby." They do that scene again. And then everything turns to color.
We didn't talk about the commercial in this one either. You skipped that part again.
We skipped it.
Yeah, we don't like
to. So anyway,
the watch,
the watch. Yeah, the Strucker watch.
Same two people delivering the commercial, and the Strucker watch, which has the Hydra symbol on it. This one representing like her time when they're like her and her brother were getting their powers and they were in captivity.
Yes,
Baron von Strucker.
Yes, they did him wrong in the movie.
They did him so wrong in the movie. He died off screen. He's like a big villain in the comics.
Yeah,
he's like barely in it. And he's kind of like a wimp. And then that was just sad. So I kind of hope somehow he comes back.
That'd be cool.
She can bring people back to life.
As the milkman or something. Hey, here with your milk, Fräulein. Anyways,
your father coming to visit, and it's him. Crazy.
So it turns to color. What did you think about the whole turning to color scene?
Oh, that's fun.
I liked it.
Apparently, when it was in black and white, instead of the red paint on his face, they used blue because it was easier. It showed up better in black and white.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I thought it was like, part of me was like, oh, I sort of like the black and white. I didn't want it to turn to color so fast, but I get it.
That's what happened with Bewitched. They went to color.
Yeah, I know. But it would be cool to sort of, if they talked about that more, like Wanda and Vision talked about it, like, what's going on? We're turning to color. Instead of just sort of like, oh, look at there. Okay. Move along. Which this series is going to go through different decades of TV, pretty much. Different time periods.
Color. Caitlin's in color.
Oh, wow. Now. Look, I just noticed that.
Look at that.
You do that again?
Fancy, huh?
Sure. You don't mess up the recording.
Probably. No.
You just have like parts of your body turn to color?
I wish. I probably could with some fancier software, but this is just the camera software.
Well,
so
Caitlin's in color now, so that's cool.
Yeah.
You don't have to turn it back.
Oh,
I
can
color.
Just like to hear.
Oh yeah, so
you like me.
This show is
perfect. I like that one.
Oh yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, sunburn.
There you go. It was sort of blue in the background and black and white on.
Yeah, take the color intensity down a little bit.
There you go.
There we go. Right there.
Yeah, leave
muted.
It like you can go full color. It's fine. Anyways, so it's going to go. I've even seen scenes where it looks like she's on Modern Family. So it's
it goes like up
all the way to
present day.
To
present day. I mean, they're shots in like the trailers that are like in like actual like MCU reality.
Yeah.
So
where she's in The Mandalorian, there's that one shot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see when they get to the ER stage, like what happens. It's very serious. The Walking Dead episode, they do that.
I don't think there's that many episodes.
I think it's
American Horror Story episode.
I think it's just sitcoms.
Yes.
Yeah. They'll get to the hour format soon.
It's gonna be a Full House. There's gonna be a
Cosby Show.
No, I can't do that.
No. Why not?
Will and Grace, look into that.
There's a lot of reasons why they can't.
No. Okay.
MASH episode.
It's not 2020. It's 21. MASH. Anyways, so they're going to go through. So if you didn't care for the style of the first two episodes, don't worry. The style changes every episode. We've already seen that in the first two episodes. Even though you thought it didn't change because it's black and white. It did.
Yeah, it went from Dick Van Dyke and Out of Lucy to Bewitched.
Yeah. Partridge Family? Yeah, maybe. Chester just asked me.
Travel along as a song.
Oh yeah, they'll have a musical episode probably.
Of course.
Or they join a band, yeah.
Yeah.
Zack Attack. I'll do that.
Well, he does play the ukulele. They were the ukulele.
Ukulele.
First episode.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. All right, let's get to some theories, some more theories. We've had a bunch of theories so far. We've talked about Agnes Harkness. We've talked about AIM. We've talked about Clea, Nicholas Scratch, Mephisto, Grim Reaper. Who else we got? What else we got, Chris?
Well, so my basic overall theory arc is that she's suffering kind of like PTSD. It's affecting her powers. They're getting a lot of control, so she has to go see someone for help. So, of course, she goes to see someone who is like her, Agatha Harkness. Maybe she got a recommendation from Doctor Strange or someone, or maybe she just happened to come upon her. But she goes for her to help, and but something happens. Her powers like really shoot out of control and envelops this area in basically like a bubble.
Yeah.
It traps everyone that's in that bubble in there and gives them their own roles. And like, in Agatha may be kind of aware of this, of course, because you see that she's kind of aware of it. But because of this, like, it attracts like Sword. It attracts. I always want to say Hive, but it's
AIM.
not Hive because of the symbol. It's AIM. Hive is DC Comics. AIM. So they're both trying to basically break into this bubble to get to her.
Yeah.
And her power. One trying to help her, one trying to like use her, type thing. And that's basically my overall kind of theory that seems to be happening. And like, she's partly aware, partly not, because in the comics, like, this has happened to her with like House of M, where she's made whole new realities. She's accidentally killed people, brought them back to life. This could very well set off an event which like brings mutants into the Marvel universe.
Oh my!
Because like, part of it she was desperate for family and everything. With Vision, she saw a future that was no longer there, and so this becomes like for the children, so she can
for the children,
so she can have children of her own, and this could expand it into a bigger family of mutants.
Yes.
You know, you got to tag that on to the name of this episode.
Yep.
I thought that earlier.
Yeah. I saw a really wild and weird theory that I don't think it's real, but it was weird because it was talking about AIM, and then it talked about how Vision is not actually Vision, but is, and I'm not going to pronounce the guy's name right. MODOK. That Vision is actually a MODOK.
Probably not.
No, I know not. But it was just like weird, like, oh, that'd be crazy.
They are going to do a MODOK series. It's like a stop motion series. It's supposed to be like a comedy type thing. Yeah. It's in the works.
Have they said the word mutants in the MCU yet? No, they have not said the word mutants.
No, I don't think they have.
That was a question that we had.
No, because they didn't have license to really do.
Which in some of the comics, Wanda is a mutant, and in some of the comics, she's not a mutant. It's actually, she was experimented on.
Yeah, she started out as a mutant, and then like the Marvel Universe took off, and they could use her, but she couldn't be mutant, so they kind of changed it in the comics.
Yeah.
To go along with the movies, but now I think she's like back to being a mutant. And so it'll be interesting to see if somehow out of this she does become the daughter of Magneto.
Which in the comics, sometimes she's the daughter of Magneto, sometimes she's not the daughter of Magneto. So there's all kinds of stuff.
Her and her brother were born on Mount Wundagore in the comics, which like it's this weird evolution type place of science that they were raised, and like Bova is this like half person, half cow creature that kind of raises them.
Yes.
And on the milk carton it's like Bova milk.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, and in the grocery store, in the Bewitched opening, when they're in the grocery store, there's a picture. One of the posters is of cat litter, and it has to do with the cat that Agatha owns. He has a cat that like can sense powers or something.
And the glass of the wine that they drink is in French, and it loosely translates to like House of Misery, so House of M, which is the comic book story.
It's cool. There's a lot of stuff. That's what I like about the show so far. There's all these mystery, all these little secrets you can find, and you can piece together. Hopefully, it is you can piece stuff together, and it's not just them throwing stuff in. Like I hope it doesn't turn out. Well, she was just crazy, and she just came up with this world, and now it's not there anymore.
It was all a dream. Well, she wakes up.
It's probably some of it is, because it's part of the idea is that this is all in her head, right? That this is all just kind of happening in her mind, and things are seeping in from the real world into this fantasy world.
I think there is a world that she's created, like a real world, because there's
a warped reality.
Well, there's a one of the clips that you see, like in the trailer or something. It's this big bubble, and something's trying to. It's the Geraldine gets thrown out of the bubble. So she gets like thrown out. So I'm guessing at some point,
the Truman Show.
Wanda is gonna, sort of. Wanda's gonna realize that she doesn't who she is. That she's with Sword, and she's gonna fling her from this reality, or something's gonna happen to throw her out.
She got canceled.
So it's not all in her mind.
It's 2021.
Yeah. You're canceled.
Or maybe Agatha throws her out.
Maybe so. I really hope Agnes is Agatha, because I think that's going to be really cool, and it's going to set up some stuff for Doctor Strange, and it's going to.
I like that actress. That'd be cool if she showed up with some other stuff.
Yeah. I think there's some other people, actresses that are tied to this show that haven't shown up yet, that have been in the MCU already, or not even the MCU, have been in X-Men.
Yeah, supposedly there's a rumor that Quicksilver will show up, but not necessarily the Quicksilver from the MCU, the Quicksilver from X-Men.
I think people liked him better.
Yeah. They did Quicksilver better in X-Men than they did the MCU.
So that's Evan Peters.
Yes.
So he's been in. Well, he was Quicksilver in X-Men, and he's been in. He's been in most seasons of America Horror Story.
Yeah.
I've only seen like a couple seasons of that, but I think he was in both of
them. So one of I'm looking at the IMDb right now, and it says Agent Rodriguez. Is that somebody that was in one of these episodes? But it's
probably not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah, so that's like another, and that was where they found out. That's where somebody said that they found out that Monica Rambeau was a character, because it was an IMDb or something like that.
That crazy IMDb.
Grey Griffin's going to be in an episode.
Aaron Gillespie. Oh.
She voices Daphne in Scooby-Doo.
There you
go. The girl from Thor.
Yeah, supposedly she's gonna be in it. The sidekick girl.
The sidekick girl.
Supposedly she might be in it somehow.
Anyways, I'm excited about this show. I know some people are on the fence still, but I think hang in there. It's going to pay off. I think it's going to be a big payoff. By the end.
Yeah, I think that's what made this kind of risky in some ways, though, right? Because there's going to be a lot of people that watch it and don't know what's going on. Don't think about like where this fits in the timeline. Like, this is supposed to be after Endgame, right? And all that's happened or whatever. And they're going to watch it and be like, what the heck am I watching? And
like our father.
I mean, and honestly, I was kind of that way for a little bit. I mean, still knowing kind of where it fits, but it still is just like, what's the point of this? But if you start to unravel it and look at it, you'll kind of get it. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that are Mandalorian watchers, that are just casual fans of these things, that may watch it and be like, I'm not going to watch this. This is ridiculous, but then they'll watch it later maybe because they hear, oh, it got better, you need to go back and watch it, and that's a big risk, but
I think the way with COVID and everything threw everything off. I think if this had came out when it originally was supposed to come out,
yeah,
it would have been a little better for people to understand what's going
yeah,
on. There was also
maybe.
going to be a after credit scene in Endgame that would help explain this, but they cut it.
Yes. Showing the Vision coming back somehow.
Yeah. So that was cut from the movie for whatever reason. I don't know why.
Well, yeah,
because they didn't have an after credit scene. Endgame, they just got rid of it. That may have helped out a little bit. But I'm looking forward to the rest of the season. I hope you guys enjoyed us talking about these first two episodes and our thoughts. I hope it's helped people understand sort of what's going on a little more. That will make it more enjoyable. Like after you listen to this, if you want to go back and watch the first two episodes, and maybe that will clear some stuff up for you, because there's a lot of stuff hidden in there. But I think it was fun. I think it's fun how they're taking each episode and using like a time period in TV land to explain it.
And if we missed anything that you saw, feel free to comment here on YouTube or on our Facebook group, I Am Group, Twitter, Instagram, sure, why not?
I Am Geek Show. Comment a picture on Twitter. Just tag us.
Yeah, comment with a picture on Twitter and tag us.
Not Twitter, I mean Instagram.
Instagram or Twitter, whatever. Throw a picture of anything, whatever.
Well, not anything.
Well, yeah.
Please be clothed.
I like this. Our friend Vance in the comments says, I agree. I like the mystery of it. People are so, I need everything now because of Netflix, and the slow roll out of the Disney Plus series is driving people nuts. Yes. It's driving people nuts because they can't get it all at once. But I'm loving that they're doing it this way.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's making you pay attention more. And it's making you not be like, let's just move on. Okay, I've binged that season or that show. Let's move on to something else. It gives you a week to think about it. And you're like, oh, what about this? What about that? Because you're excited for the next, just like The Mandalorian did. After the Mandalorian episode, so many more people were talking about it. But I guarantee if they put the whole season out at once, they wouldn't have talked as much about it.
Yeah.
It's getting us to think about stuff and talk to each other about stuff, and that's what I like.
I don't want to talk to people.
Yikes!
But I am really glad that they put the first two episodes out at the same time, because I think that really helped people understand a little more about what's going on. Because I think if they just put the Dick Van Dyke I Love Lucy episode out, then people would be like, yeah, I'm done with this. But they gave it a little, I think the next one is just going to be one, right? I'm sure they're not.
Yes. I believe so.
That's what I understand. Yeah, I mean, I think if they had done the black and white episode, then another black and white, people are going to be like, oh, is this what this is going to be like? And just all the weird stuff is now, and it's going to start to make more sense, I think, with the next episodes. And it's going to be in color, so it's going to be more attractive to people, a lot of people, I think. And it was probably smart to do that.
But I'm loving it. I'm loving that we can talk about it.
It's a free country. We can talk about it.
Is it?
It's not.
But we had our show when we first started I Am Geek long ago. We talk about Flash every week, and we haven't really had anything like that because Flash is.
It's coming back soon, though.
I think. Coming back soon.
I didn't even watch last season. But anyway.
Tonight, Walker started.
Oh, did it? Ooh, I'll check that out. It's going to be hard for me to watch Walker because
the new Walker Texas Ranger show.
It's gonna,
with Jared Padalecki
from Supernatural. It's gonna. I don't know if I can watch it because to me he will always be Sam, and when I see him as Walker Texas Ranger, I'm like, what's Sam? Where's the monsters? Where's the
ghosts? A little easier for me. I watched him on Gilmore Girls, and then he went to Supernatural, so we could transition a bit more.
Well, we're excited about episode 3 of WandaVision, and we would love to hear from you. Join I Am Group. Just go on Facebook, type in I Am Group, all one word, I-A-M Group. Or on Twitter, I Am Geek Show. But let's continue the conversation because we probably won't do every. What we'll probably do is we've done this to sort of set up the season, and then at the end of the season we'll probably do a roundtable about the whole season of WandaVision.
And more than likely, Ray Chase will.
Yeah, we'll have some friends on,
which is a long ways away. Like it seemed like they had the episodes out pretty far, like into March. Did I read that right?
Seems like it.
It seems like it seems like a far away.
I don't know how many episodes there are.
It's like 9, maybe, I don't know. But it just which is 9 weeks, right? I don't know. Whatever.
Whatever. Anyways, yes. So we'll probably do a roundtable to wrap up the whole series instead of just doing the one-off episodes every week. But this will give you a little background. Hopefully, we can come back and we can say, "Hey, Agnes was Agatha.
You were right."
And
fast forward to their last episode. Yeah, we were wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just all a dream. She woke up in bed.
This show's about absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
The whole Bob Newhart episode.
Yeah. But it was all for the children. That's why we do what we do. For the children. All right. Well, this has been I Am Geek episode 177. And we'll be back with you next week for episode 178.
Excellent.
Anyways, good night, everybody. For the children.
Bye-bye.